Sainsbury's is one of the leading supermarket chains in the UK with over 1,400 stores across the country. As a company, Sainsbury's is committed to promoting the health, safety, and well-being of its employees, and that is why they have implemented a sickness policy. The sickness policy outlines the necessary procedures that need to be followed in case an employee falls ill and is unable to work. The policy covers various aspects such as the duration of the sickness, payment while off sick, and the steps to take to notify the employer of the absence. If you are an employee of Sainsbury's, you need to be familiar with the sickness policy to understand what is expected of you in case of sickness. Duration of the sickness. The sickness policy provides for two types of sicknesses, long-term and short-term. A short-term sickness is an absence that lasts for less than 7 calendar days, including weekends. If you are absent from work for 7 calendar days or less due to sickness, you are entitled to self-certify your absence. On the other hand, a long-term sickness is an absence that lasts for more than 7 calendar days. In the case of a long-term absence, you must notify your employer as soon as possible so that they can make alternative arrangements to cover your duties. You will also be required to provide a doctor's note that details the duration of the sickness and the expected return date. Payment while off sick. Sainsbury's sick pay policy provides payment for both short-term and long-term absences due to sickness. The company offers sick pay that is based on the length of service and is subject to eligibility. If you are a permanent full-time employee, you are entitled to full pay during your absence from work for the first 28 weeks. After the 28 weeks, the sick pay is reduced to half pay until you return to work, or your employment is terminated. For permanent part-time employees, the sick pay is pro rata, depending on the number of hours worked. For example, if you work 20 hours a week, you will receive sick pay based on the hours worked. Employees who are in their probationary period or on a temporary contract are not eligible for sick pay. Instead, they are entitled to statutory sick pay, which is £96.35 per week for up to 28 weeks. The steps to take to notify the employer of the absence. In case of sickness, you must follow the correct procedure to notify your employer of your absence. You need to inform your line manager or another senior member of staff as soon as possible to allow them to make alternative arrangements to cover your duties. If you are absent for 7 calendar days or less, you can self-certify your absence. You must fill in an absence form when you return to work, which will capture details such as the reason for the absence, the duration of the absence, and any medication you are on. For an absence that is over 7 calendar days, you must provide a doctor's note stating the length of the absence and the expected return date. The doctor's note should be submitted to your line manager or another senior member of staff within the first 7 days of the absence. Conclusion. In conclusion, Sainsbury's sick pay policy is a crucial aspect of the company's employee well-being. The policy outlines the necessary procedures to follow in case of sickness, the duration of the sickness, and payment while off sick. As a Sainsbury's employee, you need to be familiar with the sick pay policy to ensure that you understand what is expected of you in case of sickness. It is essential to note that the policy does not apply to every employee. If you are in your probationary period or on a temporary contract, you are not eligible for sick pay. Instead, you are entitled to statutory sick pay. Therefore, it is crucial to read the policy and determine if you are eligible for sick pay.